CarolinaPrepper.com. If you're looking for quality food storage for hiking, fishing, hunting, basic survival needs, or just for everyday use, check out our food storage line at CarolinaPrepper.com. We also carry other fine quality products such as our can concealment holsters for men and women. Keeping your firearm under cover and within reach puts confidence in your hands in any situation. Our products are 100% American made. Check us out today at CarolinaPrepper.com. Good morning, Marianne. How are you? How is everybody on this Friday, this Covfefe Friday? Marlene, hello. Bill, Beck, Carlton, Shauna, Mike. I know I missed somebody. Lady Catherine, how are you? Hey, Marianne. Good to see everybody. How is everybody doing this morning? Carlton, how have you been? LJ, how are you? Good. Very good. Rick, good to see you. Covfefe Friday to me. Thank you. Hi from LJ. Good morning. Hey, Jennifer, good to see you. Mustang Girl, good to see you. Royal, good to see you as well. How is everybody? It's Friday. We made it to Friday. Can you believe? Actually made it to Friday. Did I get a haircut? No. It's just the curls. And trust me, come back in an hour and you'll see them. It'll be straight again. Hey, Tori, Robert, everybody still sleeping. Jennifer is. Oh, my gosh. We have so much to talk about. Thank you. If you would, please retweet this and invite your followers, please. You combed it. Yeah, right. The curls fell out already this morning, Mustang Girl said. I know. This weather lasts about 2 seconds. Beck, how are you? Been on vacation? Lucky you. Where did you go? Free coffee and donuts, Jennifer said. Morning, all happy Covfefe. Hey, Amanda. Good to see you. Thank you, everybody. Oh, stayed home. It's a staycation that you had. Those are nice, too. Very good. You just stand there and just, don't have to do anything. Don't have to get out of bed at any particular time. Nice. Humidity is not a girl's friend. You're telling me, Mustang Girl. I went for a quick walk yesterday. It was like 90-some degrees. Oh, my goodness. Oh. Thank you, everybody, for sharing this with your followers and inviting your followers and retweeting this. I really appreciate it. Happy Junk Food Friday. Oh, my gosh. I follow on Instagram this little squirrel. I think I've told you about her before. Her name is Jill. And the cutest stuff that her owner puts up every day about this squirrel, you would love it. It's called It's a Girl, but everything is it's underscore a underscore, all the way across. But if you follow that squirrel, you'll have a great time. It's a good way to start your day, kind of laughing at the squirrel, looking at the squirrel who doesn't know it's a squirrel, who's treated like a kid. So it's amazing. Hey, Mark, good to see you. Did breakfast a few times out. Enjoyed laziness. Sounds great. Sounds nutty. That's right, Marianne. Did you used to follow her, Tori? Went for a walk to the mailbox, Jennifer said. That's, when it's that hot, that's about all you want to do. Oh, my goodness. Again, thank you so much for inviting your followers and retweeting all of this. I really appreciate it. Let's get started. I want to first start and just tell you a quick little story, if I can. It's a God story that happened yesterday, but I think it's worth repeating. And here's what happened. I have this page on Facebook. It's called Veterans Voices of America. And basically, it's just it's a forum where I can go and put veterans issues there, invite guests on that are veterans, and et cetera, everything about veterans. Well, I got off the show yesterday, and I went and I checked on the website, or I saw that I had a notification. I had a message in my inbox from a man who reached out to me, somebody I didn't know. He said, I'm a veteran. I'm homeless. Please help me. Hey, Keith, good morning. And how he got that, got to that website, how he, he doesn't know that my association with the homeless veterans in Arizona, he doesn't know about that at all. Turns out the man is in Illinois. I contacted him and said, would you like to relocate to Tucson, Arizona? Would that be something that you would be open to? I got him in contact with the veterans in Arizona. I'm happy to say he is on his way to Arizona to be with them, to commit 100% of his time towards helping homeless people, homeless veterans like himself. I know, and hey, Lisa, all of that, so God connected, because that was a needle in a haystack. Hey, Danielle, there is no way that all of that would have happened but for God. Hey, Carmen. Good morning, Robin. Good morning. I'm telling you, it made my day. It really made my day. It was God. That was the only thing that it could have been. There's the only way that man would have found me in all the people and all the places he could have gone to, but it was amazing. I know, God, when God works, it's like, ooh, hey, Robert, good morning. And if everybody missed that God is good, Jennifer, please go back to the beginning and listen to that. I mean, it was amazing, and he contacted me, last night to let me know that he was on his way, getting there slowly. I don't know how long it's going to take him, a little while, but he's on his way to Arizona to be with people, so he won't be lonely, and so that he'll be able to hopefully get there, get what he needs, and get into some housing there when he gets there. I know, Beck, it is amazing to watch God work. So, all right, let's see. We just get too busy to look at the little thing. I know. It's true, Shauna. We really, really do. Who was this? It was a guy who, he's a homeless veteran. He just reached out to me. He found my website that I have for veterans, and he just started talking to me and saying that he needed help, and I got him in contact with the Arizona veterans. So he's all hooked up, on his way, and I wish him well, and hopefully he gets there really, really soon. Knowles crew, good morning. Barbara, how are you? Barbara, make sure you listen to the replay. There's a good God story I told you in the beginning. Danielle, all glory to God. It was God's doing everything. So I just happened to be in the right place at the right time, and with my ears and eyes open to do what I needed to do. So do we watch God work, or do we see the results of his grace and of his wrath? We watch God work, and we see the results of his grace and sometimes his wrath. Sending him prayers and best of luck. Yes, Beck. Thank you, Mustang Girl. We're all doing God's work. We really, you just watch God. If you open yourself up, God's going to work in your life, and you're going to see all of those things. Got to go to listen mode, have a meeting. Aw. Okay, Barbara, not a problem. Glad that you're listening. So let's see. There's a lot of stuff. I want to start out. I want to talk to you and see if you're feeling this way. Hey, Wendell, good morning. I think there's been a lot of censorship lately going on, and wanted to find out what your thoughts of it are. I know that I saw the other day where Bill Mitchell, his Facebook page, had been deleted. That was kind of shocking. I don't know if it's back yet. There was another woman who, I think her name was Laura Southern, I believe that is her name. I don't follow her, but yeah, Lauren Southern on Patreon. Her account was deleted, and no warning, just deleted. I have been having great difficulty putting posts on. Hey, good morning, Kat. I've been limited in the amount of posts that I can get on. When I complain about it, then I am having to, when I post, I have to put in a code to let them know that I'm not a robot, or whatever. I know, Lisa, we have them worried, but here's the thing. Also, there were the other day on Facebook, there were, let me see how many, if I have the number down here, 20 Catholic pages that were, thank you so much for the super hearts, Yolanda. Thank you. 20 super hearts, yeah. 20 Catholic posts that were deleted off of Facebook completely. And they were only put back when there was a lot of outrage coming from, from the public. and they attributed everything to, well, it's just spam. My opinion is that we're going to be seeing more and more and more of this as time goes on. I'm also being censored on where I do my live streams, and every day I get, this isn't advertiser friendly. Sometimes I try not to put in on the description of what we are doing, what we're going to be talking about, but they're starting to also listen to content. And then after they listen to content, then they say it's not advertiser friendly. So, although that they have a section that calls for, politics and news, then they want to censor when you put in politics and news. So it makes absolutely no sense. So I think, we as conservatives, we need to be aware of the fact that this is happening. I think we're going to see a ton more of it before the election. I think this is just a sort of a precursor and a trial to see how that's going to work. I think it's horrible. It's hard to fight back, when you don't have the ability to have a ton of money, to put out there, to have your own social media and have tons of followers out there. It's very difficult. So, if you're Twitter, if you're Facebook, you have a built-in audience. If you're anybody else, including Gab, you don't have a huge audience like that. And if we go to, let's say we go to our own conservative site, then we're going to sort of be isolated and not allowed to be out in, the public eye, if you will, and talking with Democrats and Republicans and trying to convince them to come over to our side. Hey, Sharon. Jennifer says she was told that things she's sharing is they're saying that, claiming that it's spam, so on hers as well. And you have to keep reporting it. It's designated as spam over there. No, not different than people who store in the cloud. They can slam anyone when it crashes. That's true. So I would say, if that happens to you, you need to complain. You need to do something. You need to continue to, question them, fill out reports, send it into them. Don't, be the squeaky wheel instead of the one who doesn't do anything, and you think, well, there's no need to say anything, I'll just go on. Take screenshots of censorship alerts and tweet to advertisers. They usually rebuke the censorship. Good idea, Mustang Girl. Censoring is bad on Facebook and especially Twitter. Your Twitter's been shut down twice. Do you know or have you watched Paul? No, I haven't, Keith. I'll put that down and try to find him. So, again, I think that's something that we're going to see more and more of. Jennifer said, I reported a man supporting ISIS on Facebook. Facebook said there was nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I mean, I've reported pornography at times on Facebook, and they tell me there's nothing wrong with it. So, obviously, being a conservative, I guess, is worse than some other things, in their opinion. Okay. Thanks, Keith. I watch J.D. Farag a lot for prophecy updates. Yeah, I know. Yeah, the pornography on Periscope is overwhelming at times. I've reported many things that Facebook didn't do anything about, Robin said. It's true. That's when you know it's a bot censoring you. Yeah. Hey, Veritas, good morning. How are you? So, in speaking of censorship, I know. And Mustang Girl, when they say it isn't advertiser friendly, they don't tell you what makes it so. So therefore, you have no way of knowing what it is that you did that they don't like. So that if you, let's say you wanted to change it, you could go back and do something about it, but you can't. Hey, Jerry, haven't seen you in so long. How are you? Teresa, good morning. So, they don't even give you an opportunity to figure out what it is. Can you report a scope without actually opening it? I don't know, Teresa. I guess you could go to their profile and try it from there. When they do not stop pedo stuff when you point it out, that is pathetic. Welcome, Anthony. It's the first day on Periscope. You were at Niagara Falls, Jerry. Wonderful. Wow. Pictures, Jerry? Yeah, there you go, Jennifer. Go to their FBI page on Facebook and report things there. So speaking about censorship, Are you serious? Paul's video. I don't know what you're talking about. Paul's videos, but um, hey Amanda, you're saying welcome to I guess Anthony. Okay, perfect. um, yeah, YouTube, Yolanda. So if you'll notice in YouTube today, I've put several things, and I put our topics would also be rainbows and lollipops for YouTube. So hopefully that one won't get censored. One night on Periscope, I got nothing but porn sites. Had to change my settings. Beck said, "Wow." You know, it's amazing sometimes on Periscope what goes on at night. I've seen that at night, and I think, wow, this is a different world than we live in during the day. Um, Anthony's back again. Hey, Anthony, welcome to your second time on Periscope. It's a sad world, Marianne, when that happens. Beck says so gross. I see them all day, Danielle said. Work the system, I know. Rainbows and lollipops. Mueller should get investigated by Trump team. Yeah, well, first let me tell you about it. The censorship. I don't know if you remember the Albuquerque Tea Party. They tried for 8 years in the IRS to get, deemed a nonprofit organization, right? To get a tax exempt status. So it's taken them 8 years to go through Lois Lerner, and they finally just received their documentation that allows them to be an exempt status under the IRS. 8 years. She was. They were saying that she was tagging. Lois Lerner was tagging any group that had conservative on it or that seemed conservative, and so these people, they applied in December of 2009, and the group complied, and then they requested even more documentation. The Tea Party provided more than 1,000 pages of documentation, and eventually had to file a lawsuit against the IRS. I mean, that's pretty pathetic. So talk about censorship. Yeah, targeted delay is right. She's a dirtbag, Danielle said. Yeah, and she's a dirtbag that got away with it, who is continuing to get money. And by the way, speaking of money and people getting money, and maybe you consider dirtbag, maybe you don't, O.J. Simpson is getting paroled, and he's getting out on August 1st. And I guess the thing that is, I look at it, there was a civil lawsuit that found him liable for the deaths of his wife and of Ron Goldman. He was not criminally liable, but he was civilly liable. And he has to pay back the Goldmans, and he has to pay back the Browns. But his pension, his NFL pension, cannot be touched. He makes $25,000 a month, over $300,000 a year in his pension. So he's going to go out, and he'll get out and go on and live with his life, and making $300,000 a year. Shauna, he's going to be living in your state of Florida. He's asked to move there. So hopefully it's not in a location near you. So, but he's on his way to Florida. I guess that's where his family is. And his oldest daughter testified in his favor yesterday. Yeah, I think, Marianne, I heard, $25,000 a month. Yeah, I know, Marlene. You said he was going to Florida. Hey, Don, good morning. Miami. Well, Cully, that's probably a good place for him to stay out of danger and everything. Yeah, his daughter wants him there. Probably, could use some of the money. He's closer to Cully. Oh, my gosh, he's closer to you, Cully. I think he'll be in South Florida. Church Scope I did had the inappropriate content when you clicked on it. Oh, my gosh. It was OJ's son. That's what, Bill, that's what some people think. I heard 19,000. Cat, whatever the amount is, it's too much. For a guy who basically doesn't have to pay a dime of that money to the people that he is civilly liable for killing. His kids with Nicole live in St. Petersburg. They have little contact with him. Yes, the daughter that came in there was a daughter from another marriage. So, yeah, it was Nicole's kids weren't there. So as usual for OJ, he denied everything, but under the Nevada law, it was time for him to get out. There are people who think that, his sentencing for was too long for the crime that was committed in Nevada. Taking bets he will be back in less than 5 years. A daughter with another mother. Yep. He's coming your way, Shauna. He's going to live with Obama and play the race card. I don't think Obama's going to have anything to do with OJ. He's got a bad temper, Kat, but he said he took a program in the prison and he's fine now. And he's also been helping other prisoners stay out of trouble. I heard something this morning from another talk show host that said that basically because he had so much money when he was in prison, that he had everybody working for him, like, when it was cleanup time, when there were chores to do, they did the chores for him because, he would pay them the money that they could use, to buy stuff in the little prison store or whatever. So I think that's Charlie Manson's coming up for parole. Yeah, I don't think Charlie's going to be out. Charlie's a little bit has a little bit more problems. I took a Weight Watcher program not eat cookies that didn't work. What are you saying, Shauna? Yeah, but the one thing is that OJ's not going to have to work. You'll probably see him out on the golf course. So there you go. They said he didn't take any classes in jail. The parole board wanted. Exactly, Bill. They asked him to take Alcoholics Anonymous. He didn't take that. And there was another course. I can't remember what it was, but he didn't take that. No problem, Robin. I thought you were probably still there. Thank you for listening. Me and OJ ain't good with programs, Shauna said. Yeah, he'll be at reality shows. He's probably not going to write a book because if he does, that will go to the Goldmans and the Browns. He said his life has no. I know he had the audacity to say there's no conflict in his life. He really hasn't had a life of conflict. Charlie needs to get to burning already. California taxpayer. I missed that one. Oh, Charlie Manson. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Charlie. Whew. Charlie may be here a long time. You know how evil kind of stays around a long time. Did you know he was a softball league commissioner who will take the knife? I mean, baton. Veritas said, yep. He's not self-aware. Yeah, he's, and, I mean, it comes from, I think, probably his personality being egotistical and everything else. Wow. Saw him at Doral after he got off the murder charges. Cully said that, talking about OJ, he never should have opened his mouth at the hearing for parole. Yeah, and I think probably, Shauna, the reason they let him open his mouth is because they were pretty confident under Nevada law that he was gonna get out. Because I was thinking the same thing for a while. Like, in the very beginning, I was thinking, gosh, why is it his attorney allowing him to talk? And it was funny. I don't know if you guys heard it, but during the break when they were out kind of deliberating and deciding whether or not OJ was going to walk, they were talking. They were all like laughing it up there. OJ was like, oh, I didn't say those things. And that guy said that about me. And I didn't do that, and they were just having a great old time. And it's hard to hear that when two people are dead. When that, as Geraldo said, his blood was on the scene. His blood was, back at the truck. His blood was back in his house. It's what can you say? And it's just hard to see it. I saw OJ on his son's high school game one time before the murders. They knew the mic was hot too. That's right, Veritas. And they're, again, it's ego, and they don't really care. Hey, good morning, Hugh. How are you? Good to see you. Glad you're here with us today. Sad that I helped build those prisons for CCI, Don said. Do you see Chris Darden now? He is now 2 Chris Dardens. Oh, no. It's funny. I saw something that I think it was Chris Darden that wrote, basically said that the woman, what was her name, the one in charge of it all? Gosh, I can't. It starts with an M. It just went out of my mind. Marsha Clark. Yes, thank you. He was saying that he wished Marsha had never been in charge of it, and I guess they tried to tell her, and this is his words, don't put African American women on the jury because they will not vote to convict. And apparently she put, I don't know, 4 to 6 on there, and sure enough, they didn't vote to convict. Yeah, I know Darden's still really upset about that. And they did a lot of dumb things, I think, in the prosecution of all of it, and they didn't handle it exactly well. And you were going against a huge team on the other side that he had. I never will forget, though, the look on his Kardashian's face, uh, Robert Kardashian's face when he won. It was absolutely shock on his face. Yeah, the glove ruined it all. It did. They always tell you as an attorney, don't ever ask a question unless you know the answer to it already. And as far as that glove is concerned, nobody thought to have him try that glove on before the trial. Yeah, the glove didn't fit, and it could be because A, it was somebody else's glove, or B, when you have blood on the glove and it's been moist and then it dries, it sort of shrinks. Yep, there you go. That's right, Shauna. 10.5, what was 10.5 million poor in Canada? Is that what you're saying, Hugh? Yeah, it had shrunk. And so that was a really stupid, stupid thing for them to do. And, when he did that, everybody's like, okay, hey, Amy, good to see you. Amy, you might want to listen to the very beginning of the replay because we talked about a really good thing. So I'll just let you go back and listen to that. He had plastic gloves on when he tried it on. I believe that effect. Yeah, and well, he had that too, but of course he had to put the latex gloves on underneath it just because of the evidence and everything else. They admitted OJ had arthritis and stopped taking his medications. Hands were very swollen that day. Wow. Yeah, a lot of things that they did wrong. If they had just thought about it, maybe doing it now would have been a lot different. But unfortunately, you don't get a do-over. And they're saying that some of his friends have that he's told his friends that he actually did do it. And you can't do double jeopardy. When they tried him once and found him not guilty, that's it. He can go out that very day and say, "Yep, I killed her." Nothing you can do. He's just going to give it to Al Qaeda anyway. You said. Oh my goodness. You remember the 3 Afghan girls? Yeah, he did DNA, proved it. Yeah. DNA was new at the time. Yes, it was, Cully. And one of the guys that did the DA testing was a guy that I knew from the prosecutor's office in San Diego, the DA's office. His name was Woody Carlson or Clarkson. God, I haven't seen him in years. But I knew about him because as a law clerk, I worked at the DA's office, and I knew him pretty well, and he also lived in my neighborhood. Hey, Robert. And he's the one that did the DA. He was the DNA. He was an expert in it. He did a great job, but by then it was just kind of downhill by that time. So there was not too much that could save it. And if it were the DNA that we have today and how we know how to do it, I think it would have been better. I haven't heard about the Republicans trying to move the guy in North Korea, Kim Jong. I don't know that they're going to do that. I think they have to do something, I suppose. Speaking of him, I have a notation on what he did. You're just going to love this because this tells you exactly who this guy is. And let's see. Kim Jong-un. I can never say his name. Kim Jong-un. What he did the other day, he publicly executed for crimes such as stealing rice and livestock and distributing South Korean media. What he did was he took them to publicly executed them like at a school, in the schoolyard. Yes, killing them in front of children to just to totally freak them out, so that he can create an atmosphere of fear. And being a dictator, that's what you want to do. So that's what he did. He shot all the criminals to death in schoolyards and fish markets. So the guy he's nuts. What can I say? Hey, Debbie, good to see you. And again, some of the crimes were citizens convicted of violent crimes, murder and manslaughter, as well as organized prostitution and sexual assault, but they were mixed in with people who were stealing rice and livestock and distributing South Korea media. So it didn't matter to him. He just killed everybody he could. Good morning. Thank you, Robert. Thank you for the flowers. I know. Thank God it's Friday. Robert, I saw that I just happened to be on the outside listening last night to the Row that you were in, and the lady that you were watching selling the clothing. She's so cute. I can't remember her name, but she was just adorable. I know. All right, so there are rumors that, and Juliet, yeah, perfect. She's adorable. Anthony Scaramucci, a Republican donor. I know we've talked about him before weeks ago, but they're claiming, and again, I don't know if I would believe this right now or not because, she used to do hair. Oh wow, well she's beautiful too. Um, they're supposedly going to appoint him as the White House communications director for the guy that left in May, to replace him. And it's interesting because I really thought that would be what Sean Spicer was going to do, but apparently not. If the rumors are in fact true, she seems really cool, Robert. Jennifer says he starves his citizens and tells them, if you want to feed your family, you will join my army. And speaking about the North Korean dictator, yeah, he's despicable. Let's see. Now, is anybody in Atlanta? He's too easygoing. Yeah. Which one is too easy? Scaramucci or Sean Spicer? You think Spicer's too easygoing? Anybody living in the area, Atlanta, Georgia? Anybody in that area? Anybody in Atlanta, Georgia? Nope. Okay, Danielle's not. 8-hour drive. Oh, Sally, no. No, but I will be in Atlanta for the MAGA meetup. Okay, an hour away. Well, Amanda says no. If anybody is Dennis Rodman, yes, yeah, 8-hour drive. Hugh's not near Atlanta, that's for sure. There's a meetup there. Yeah, well, there's another meetup of a sort coming this Saturday at noon. Um, Media Equality Project and Main Street Patriots are going to demonstrate in front of the CNN building in regards to their fake news and all the stuff that they've been doing. So if you happen to know anybody that's in Atlanta, tell them to go to the CNN building at noon on Saturday and be there in the demonstration. Yeah. We need to have more of those, by the way, everywhere that we can get them. Did you see the meme about CNN is Trump, Putin, and Spicer with skit Spice TV? No. I know. I wish I were in Atlanta just for that day. I would go there. Bring wrestling outfits and CNN masks. They deserve it. They do deserve it, Kat. They've deserved it for quite a long time. So that should be really good. And for the meetup, everybody who's going to the meetup, that would be great too. Some other news. Tucker Carlson's not really happy. Hugh says complete nonsense news, and that's what CNN stands for. Need to win the lottery so I can go everywhere? Exactly, Amanda. Yes, Hollywood of the South is Atlanta, somebody said. Send a plane ticket, I want to go, Jennifer said. Yeah, if you were a millionaire, you could just jet set anywhere for any meeting, go in, go to the meeting, go to the demonstration, go right back out. It would be great. Be wonderful to do that. What about Tucker? Okay, so Tucker's not very happy with President Trump right now. And there are some others who aren't happy with him as well. A lot of people are saying, what he said about Sessions to the New York Times was really uncalled for. And it was something that, he shouldn't have done. That they're saying, that Sessions, yes, for dissing Sessions, They're saying that Sessions is really, of anybody, a great friend to the president, a great friend to the American public. Yeah, Lee's not happy either. Jennifer said that's her boyfriend. Tucker is. And it's something that they're saying that he shouldn't have said. And I from looking at it from a point like a psychotherapist would look at why Donald Trump did what he did. And I haven't looked at Donald Trump. I haven't treated him. I'm not rendering a diagnosis. But I've seen people like this, that when they don't get their way sometimes, they're very hurt, and they act like children in the way that they get emotionally hurt, and then they kind of strike out at somebody. And I think that yes, Bill, and I think that's in a way what he did. He's sort of like a wounded child in some respects when he doesn't get his way, or he thinks that people should have his back and they don't. Yeah, I think that I agree with you, Marianne. It could be a ploy, Jerry. I'm not discounting that either. It could be one of those things where he wanted Sessions to go ahead and resign. It could be that. I mean, I disagree with President Trump on this, as I said yesterday, in the fact that Sessions had no choice but to recuse himself for this Russian thing. He was involved in the campaign. He did meet with Russians, but he was involved in the campaign. Anything that he did in regards to Russia, because of the fact that he was in the campaign, he would have been accused of covering up for Donald Trump. And there's no other way around it. And as I said also, he did ask for legal advice. He asked for legal advice, and they told him, you need to recuse yourself. There is a conflict. He did the right thing. We may not like it. I wish it weren't true. I wish he didn't have to. But I feel that he had to do what he did. Well, Danielle, that could be, Greg has an opinion, absolutely. But, Greg does not represent Sessions. And those people that he went to actually represent him. And, it's fine. So, I know that I've been in situations when I was practicing law. There were times when I would not know if it should take a case or not, depending upon the relationships of past clients or whatever. When I call my attorney and said, what do you think? And if they tell me, no, ethically you shouldn't do it, I listen to them, because I'll tell you why. If it ever there was a problem from it, and somebody said, I'm gonna sue you because there was a conflict of interest, you should never have taken this case. The first thing they're going to ask me is, did you ask an attorney for legal advice? And they expect you to. As an attorney, you are expected that when you're not sure, that you seek out legal advice. And if you go against advice of counsel, you could be disbarred. So again, looking at it from what Sessions did, based upon what my legal knowledge is and what I know of, the bar associations and all that other stuff, I understand it. And again, I don't like it, but I understand it. Amber said Trump needs to apologize. Can Sessions rescind his recusal? He can, Mustang Girl, but I don't know on what basis. There's got to be something new, because it's still a conflict. The conflict didn't change. And Danielle, that's what I guess that's Trump is saying he didn't know beforehand. But did they ask? Did anybody know that was going to come up? Did Sessions himself know that was going to come up? How did Mueller get assigned? That was from the Deputy Attorney General's office, Rosenstein. Thanks, Veritas. Was there truly a conflict, though? Yeah, Mustang Girl, I think there was. Because he could be called as a witness against the president, because he was part of the campaign. Mueller absolutely has a conflict, mighty blessed one. He should never have been appointed, in my opinion. And he should, again, somebody looking at that saying there's a conflict, what are people going to say? What are attorneys going to say, for him? Because he's an attorney. What's the Bar Association going to be saying? But nobody's brought an action against him. I know that Donald Trump right now, there's rumors anyway, they're saying that they're looking at every possible way to find out if there's a reason that they can use to at least make those people that Mueller appointed, to make them recuse themselves. Yep, Republicans really stayed quiet. Right now, the Republicans are talking about it. It's like, where were you in May when they appointed him? Hey, Robin, how are you? I know, Robin. There's no right answer. Trump could pardon everyone, including himself. That's right, Don. He could. Rothstein should have never appointed Mueller. I agree with that. He needs to resign. I totally agree with that. And see, there's another conflict too. Rosenstein may be called as a witness. He's the one supposedly that told Trump to fire Comey. So there's so many conflicts of interest going on. It's ridiculous. It just, I mean, it just gets worse and worse. The GOP is never there when they need to be. Sometimes that's absolutely true, Robin. They really needed at the very beginning to just handle things a lot differently, in my opinion, than they did. We needed to go right out of the chute, going right after the Clintons, and now they're saying, in a lot of respects, there's been a FOIA request by Judicial Watch to give information over on Hillary's emails and the emails that they found with UMA, and they're saying, well, we have so much. So many things here that we need to do. We need to go through all the emails. I think there's like 7,000. And we're really having a hard time doing that because, there's a hiring freeze. So they're throwing it back on President Trump for saying there's a hiring freeze. And they've had, months, probably years by now, of trying to get this information. The Judicial Watch has, and they're not getting it from the State Department. And the State Department saying also, well, we're kind of slow at getting it to you because the public's kind of lost interest in Hillary and what she did or may not have done. I know, Don. Judicial Watch is great. Tom Fitton. Yep. State Department says there isn't much public interest. That's right, Sally. Just what I'm saying. They're saying, nobody really cares about Hillary. What does that have to do with the FOIA request? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know. Judicial Watch is great. They just keep going. And right now, I don't know if you heard this morning, but the guy, Mark Kasowitz, he was Trump's attorney, been his attorney since like 2000. He is now out as the attorney. Okay, Catherine, thanks so much for stopping in. Hope you come back on Monday. Thank you. And so Kasowitz spokesperson also resigned. So I don't know if you remember a little while back, Kasowitz sent kind of threatening emails to this guy saying, F you, when the guy told him, you need to resign. And he's like, you don't know who I am. I know, where you are, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Thank you, Catherine. Look forward to it. And so I think probably what happened with everything heating up, Trump probably said, got to let you go, buddy. And then the guy who was the spokesperson for the attorney really was no need for him at that point and probably figured good time to get out. Right now, the legal team consists of Ty Cobb, John David, and Jay Sekulow. So that's the ones that are kind of doing all the work in regards to Russia. So, another kind of, I don't want to say setback, but a little setback. Doesn't look great. Jay is the best, and hopefully it doesn't get to a point where Jay gets frustrated and says, "Okay, I'm out too." Sekulow is tenacious, as I told you yesterday. ACLJ is handling a case of a Muslim man in Pakistan who's being accused of raping a 3-year-old girl there, and Pakistan isn't doing anything about it. So Jay Sekulow's group has taken that case on in Pakistan to try to get the government to do something about it. If they don't stay the whole show, you don't get credit. Not true, Don. Congress fears the Fed Reserve is the biggest creditor. Didn't get that. Now, some other news here. New York Times. The New York Times had a, it's a pastor? A pastor in Turkey did that? I've never heard that one. Gosh, sick people, and they want to let them in here. I know. New York Times reporter Greg Howard had a report the other day, an article. Greg Howard is an African-American man, and he wrote an article that says he thinks all white women are racist. And the New York Times published it. And part of his reasoning that I read was the reason he thinks white women are racist is because, let's say, for example, he's walking down the street and they're on their cell phones and they're not paying attention to him, or if they're walking down the street and talking, he has to have a great weekend, Mustang Girl. He has to move out of their way. So therefore, they are racist, according to this guy, Greg Howard. I know, first one to say racist is a racist. Jay is trying to get a pastor in Turkey jailed out. Oh, okay. I see, Danielle. Yeah, so basically, if you have time, you might want to let the New York Times know what you think about publishing such an article as that, which in and of itself is a very racist article in my opinion. You also might want to let Greg Howard know, especially anybody who is a white female or a black female who decides also that that was a very racist article, to drop him a little line and let him know what you think about him spreading his racism. New York Times follows Hugh on Twitter. I'm sorry, Hugh. I'm really sorry about that. Maybe you should block them. So, yeah, in things like that, you need to push back because you need to let them know that you don't appreciate that. That's garbage. You know, they shouldn't be saying that about any race and making general statements like that. The race of the reporter, he's African American, Teresa. But he can't be racist. He has no power. I know, Veritas, or so they say. So he just thinks because white women won't move out of his way on the sidewalk, that automatically means they're racist, or they're always on the telephone, his cell phone, and not paying attention to him. So sounds like he may have some other, rejection type issues. I don't know. Would have to meet him to find out and ask him, but it doesn't sound like it has anything to do with race whatsoever. Keep your friends close, your enemies closer, you said. Yeah, stop the race garbage. I've heard enough of that for 8 years. We are all amazing in God's eyes. That's right, Teresa, we are. That's the great thing about Twitter. Look them up and slam them. Yep. That's just bad parenting, Beck said. Yolanda concurred. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason to, put down any race like that. I don't care who you are. You don't make generalized statements like that. And New York Times, shame on you for posting something like that. That you would find that and give it credibility. What's his name again? It is Greg Howard. Greg Howard. Sure, you'll find him on. Yeah, Amanda, it is fake news, and New York Times doesn't even realize how fake that is and how off base that is. Now, another thing that happened, and this is, I couldn't believe this story when I read it. This happened in Cocoa, Florida. I guess, I don't know if it's Cocoa Beach, but it said Cocoa, Florida. There was an African-American disabled man that was 32 years old, and he went in this, they called it a retention pool. And I guess he went in there and he started drowning. And they're teenagers, it sounded like, I just heard the audio, it sounded like 3 boys. They were supposedly like, I think 14 through 16, something like that. And they were laughing at him. They were taunting him. They were mocking him, basically saying, we're not getting you out of there. You're going to drown, that type of thing. And the man drowned. And, I mean, all the time, I'm watching this and I'm thinking, what has happened? What has happened that we would be so cold that we would look and allow a man to drown right in front of us? Is it teenagers watching too many, video games and thinking that, people don't really die, they just get back up, and I can't believe that's it. Is it something that where they're not taught well, they're not taught to respect life anymore? But yeah, end times, that's another one. And they didn't even call 911, Marianne. I mean, they could have called because they were, filming it with their cell phones. They could have called 911. They had no, under the law, that's right, they won't be charged because they have you don't have any responsibility or liability if you don't help somebody. You don't have to help somebody that you don't know. Now, if it's a relative of yours or somebody that, you're related to, that type of thing, you do have an obligation to help that person. But if it's a stranger, you don't have to help them. You don't disobey the law. And probably in all states, I don't know, check it out. But I mean, I wouldn't have a question for me. I don't need to know that because I'm going to help that man any way that I can. It's a lack of natural affection. It's a lack of God in their lives, obviously. Depravity of man, and they're not guilty of a crime. Unbelievable. No, Robin, they walk scot-free. I don't know how you live with yourself after that, but again, if you sat there and watched a man die, then you're probably going to be okay with it later on. I know, Marianne. You call for help, you scream, you throw him something, try to get attention to get other people to help, people that can swim. I mean, it's really ridiculous. Why did the guy go in the retention pond? I don't know. I have no idea, Bill. I mean, maybe he made a bad decision, but at the same time, it's not a reason to let a man die. Beck said hopefully they have nightmares. I know. Thank you for hitting the thumbs up over there on YouTube. I really appreciate it. Poor upbringing or, a lack of one member of the family or the other. Maybe they're raised by single parents or grandparents that don't give them attention. Or sometimes it's just, you have a kid that is just irresponsible and comes that way even with good parenting. So who knows? Yeah, Danielle, I don't know why it was there. I don't know if he climbed over and, got in there or whatever the reason. Yeah, or a brat, Teresa. But, I mean, I don't know how you could, human compassion, sociopathic, yeah. It would be hard for me to know those teenagers and be around them after this. It's a lack of God and the fear thereof, yeah. Single parents have it hard. Oh, yeah, Bill. I don't know how parents do it, let alone single parents. Because if you're going to do the job well, it's taking everything you got. Yeah, he was disabled, Danielle. I don't know what his disability was, but he was disabled. And they were just, laughing at him. He had crutches. Wow. The world needs God. If they give their lives back to God, they will be willing to help anyone, Robin said. Doesn't the Bible say lay your life down for someone? Is that what you're supposed to do? What goes around comes around. Marianne, I'm telling you, again, I don't know these kids if they ever get a conscience and how they're going to live with themselves. Just doing my job, sir. I'm not a hero, Robin said. No, I wouldn't want to have to live with the fact that I let somebody drown and stood there laughing at them and mocking him and all that. I mean, it's terrible. Hopefully they will find Jesus, I know, and ask for forgiveness, Marlene. Yep, because it's going to be a hard life for them if they don't. Look at Jesus' example, Robin said. Greatest gift to lay down one's life for a friend. Yep. They should have at least tried, Yolanda, because, I mean, they just laughed at the guy. They didn't try. They didn't call anybody. They didn't call for help. John said we will all rise from our wheelchairs. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty sad. They may need to watch over their shoulders for a while. They filmed it. Yeah, I couldn't watch the video. I just heard the audio. I could only listen to part of the audio. I couldn't do it. No, they didn't even report it. Didn't they find his body later? They just kind of walked away and didn't even report it. I mean, that's pretty depraved. I don't, you have to wonder what inside of you died so much that you would do that type of thing. That, there's something, your heart just is stone. Yeah, the body was found 2 days later. Yep, they just left him. That hurts because I have had a disabled 30-year-old son, and I can't imagine. I know. Teresa, I mean, who could do that? And, 3 of them, not just one, 3 of them, from what I understand, were just standing there. And not a single one of them did it. Family found the video on social media. Yeah, see, I mean, there you go. Putting it on social media and thinking this is something that's great. Like you did something wonderful, and then you want everybody to see what you did. It's amazing. Can't watch the video. I read he was found. Yeah, Tori, somebody said 2 days later. Could have been 5 days later. I don't know. I mean, poor man, rest his soul. That, jeez, I can't even imagine what he was going through as he was dying, knowing that these people were there laughing at him and not helping him. Yep, it's horrible. So, in other news, to get away from the horrible, it looks like the FBI director, Christopher Wray, is going to be able to get through. The Senate Judiciary Committee on Thursday approved him. Unanimous support by the Judiciary Committee today, or on Thursday. A strong indication in the faith of the guy's ability to lead the FBI. They say they look forward to confirming him on the Senate floor, and that was Chuck Grassley who said that. And now the nomination heads to, it's W-R-A-Y, yeah, Christopher Wray, heads to the Senate for full confirmation vote. Trump announced his selection of Wray to lead the FBI last month or in May, actually, after firing Comey. So hopefully, I know, Beck, I know. Hopefully that will go through. I'd like to, I mean, I wish I could find a feel-good story for you. It would be nice to be a little uplifting, from that story. My God story from the very beginning was uplifting, and I kind of went downhill from there. But I mean, that's the news. That's one of the reasons that life that we're living, sometimes it's more important to be involved in that than the news. Mighty Blessed One said she's concerned about the Dems, why the Dems want Wray. I know. Well, supposedly that the position of FBI director is not supposed to be political. So. And we all saw that in Comey, right? The man's not political at all. Yeah, I'm Sally. I'm not surprised if Wray would know Comey and Mueller. They all know each other. So let's see. Judge Napolitano said that he kind of on his show advised Donald Trump Jr., Paul Manafort, and Jared Kushner that they shouldn't say anything when they testify under oath before Congress. So he wants them, I guess, to go in there and just sort of, plead the fifth. Thank you, Hugh. Thanks so much. I'll see you on Monday. He said that all three must be careful to avoid incriminating themselves since they're in the crosshairs of Robert Mueller's investigation. He also stressed that the hearing should be public because the public has a right to know what's happening. I think all of these should have been public hearings. If you're going to bring people before the House and the Senate, it should all be open up, to the public. So I think his advice to them is right on. I don't know that they're going to listen to him. And I think they're probably just going to go in there and say what they want to say, and that's it. And I wouldn't advise them to do it. It is not our house. Here's some good news. The Republican budget for 2018. Good morning, Debbie. How are you? Good to see you. Debbie, you may want to go listen to the replay when it's over because we had some good things to talk about there in the beginning. Tax reform can be passed without the Democrats. This is according to Republicans. The plan includes $621.5 billion in defense spending. The plan allows for a partial repeal of Dodd-Frank. The budget aims to reduce the deficit from a $472 billion deficit to $9 billion, which, for 2027, that'd be great. And the budget aims to save $203 billion through cuts to mandatory domestic problems. It includes deep cuts to programs supporting food stamps, student loans, federal employee benefits, and health care sources. Let's hope, that all that can go through. That's a lot to ask for. It's a tall order. We've seen what they did with health care. Let's hope they can do a better job on tax reform. I wish that they could get the health care bill done. If we're going to do it, let's do it, Thank you, Robin, for putting up Knowles' crew. And, so here we go. Boxers, 100%. Boxers are brief. You guys, your conversations. If you guys will, if you will retweet this, that would be great. Thank you, Robin. Thank you, everybody. Robin says, praise the Lord for all of us. Just saw a tweet that Sean Spencer resigned. I I would check that out before you find out if that's true or not. Yeah, I know. I know, Robert. No briefs, but colors. No briefs, colors. All right, you guys, have a great weekend. Please retweet all of this. Thank you so much. Thank you for your support. Hope to see you back on Monday. Hey, Marie, didn't see you come in. Thank you, guys. Have a great weekend. Talk to you soon. God bless everybody. Take care, everybody on YouTube. We'll see you soon.